Hello everyone, Happy New Year, welcome to 2021. We have officially made it. I screamed out Jumanji at midnight because, it was a difficult year and frankly I was ready for, the whole shitstorm to be over. Unfortunately, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. 2021 did not end that with the new year. But here we are, new year, new me and all that. Not really new me, but we'll see. I wanted to make a video sort of wrapping up everything that happened in 2020. A really popular booktuber that I watch, Christine Riccio. Shout out to her if she ever sees my video or reads my book, fingers crossed. She does this video called All the Things in Insert Year Here, where she pretty much sums up her year and talks about what she hopes for and wants for the new year. And I've been watching those videos of hers for, honestly, since she started making them, because I've been following her since I was, oh gosh, I want to say maybe 15? Before that, 14? Not entirely sure. But those videos are really, really good time capsules and ways to, be able to appreciate what you did that year and set goals for the next one. So that's basically what I'm going to do today. I'm going to copy her video. We have Mila here. She's sleeping and it's hot. Again, it's summer in Peru, so I have my fan going off over there. If you can hear that, I'm sorry. If you can't hear me, I'm sorry. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Obviously, 2020 was a really hard year for most people. The pandemic hit us in March here in, the Americas. And we all went down into quarantine. So that's affected us all in a very big way. I'm really sorry to anyone who did not have a good year. And I really don't want this video to sound like I'm bragging over anything, because that is not what I'm doing at all. But starting with January, for me, January was a very pivotal month because I had just taken the decision the month prior to quit the office job that I was working at, where I was an international buyer, and go back to the one that I had before. Mostly because it gave me a lot of freedom with my schedules and time free during the day, so it was a lot more flexible, and I wanted to start studying, preparing for a test for trying to get into the diplomatic academy, and I was also already starting ELYSIAN, so I needed a lot more time, and quitting my job was a big thing, and I started with my new old job as an English teacher again on January 6th. Obviously, I love working where I'm working at the moment. It's a great group of people. I'm very, very happy there, and I was happy to go back. So that was my January. That was the biggest thing. As far as I remember, I don't think anything else, that was humongous happened in January. Maybe a couple parties. We all know how much we miss those. In February, I got to go to the Natsu Matsuri. It's a summer festival in Japan, but there's a really big Japanese community here in Peru, so they celebrate the festival here, and I was lucky enough to go to that last event before March, where we went into lockdown. March, I also managed to get my bachelor's degree, finally. I finished officially studying university at the end of 2018, but Peruvian universities have this thing where they require internship hours for your bachelor's degree. The problem was that they didn't want to accept the job that I was already working in 2018 as my internship. So I had to find a different job for 2019, which is where I started working as an international buyer. And only after that were they able to process my degree. I processed it in October 2019, but I was only able to pick it up in March 2020. So I got that. I'm officially a bachelor's in international relations. Thank you very much. So I really didn't do much in March. We went into lockdown, I want to say on the 13th, maybe 12th. I remember we got our first case of COVID maybe, I want to say the 11th or the 12th. We went to work the day after that, and we were all freaking out because where I work, we have a lot of people who travel. They're all really, you know, successful business people, so they travel really often. One student had just come back from Italy, and so we were all freaking out, like, what if we're exposed? We can't keep working, we can't, you know, we have to move everything online. But we didn't really have to worry about it much because that same day our government declared, you know what, we're going into lockdown, everyone stops working. So that was good, that was good. I liked it because the first 2 weeks we really didn't do anything. We were pretty much on an extended vacation, and I got to do a lot of writing then. But then, when our government declared that we were going to be in lockdown for a while, that's when the company really started thinking, okay, you know what, let's just teach online. And that's what we've been doing for months and months now. Hi, honey. So for me, I was lucky. My job didn't change at all. We already had classes online. The only difference was that now I didn't have to drive to get to the institute where I work. But I did get a lot more time where, you know, I wasn't driving, I wasn't going back and forth, and that is a lot of time that I was able to dedicate to ELYSIAN. So thank you, quarantine. My book happened because of you. The first couple of months of quarantine were really strict. We couldn't go anywhere. Only one person could go to a grocery store out of a household, so we were all really stuck at home. I couldn't go see my horses, I couldn't do anything, and that was the only difficult part for me about quarantine, was not being able to see my horse. But at the time I only had one, but she was really little, she was really young, and she was used to hanging out with us all the time, so I was worried for her. I didn't know whether she was, you know, being well taken care of and stuff, so that was hard. But that ended, I want to say, maybe June. I want to say that ended in June, and the restrictions started getting lifted. We were able to move by car again, so I was able to go see her again starting in June. She was fine. She was fine. A little bit angry, but okay. Then in July, I bought my second horse, Mila'S. Are you leaving us, honey? Or are you moving to the center so everyone can see you on screen? Okay. Then in July, I bought Mila'S, and he's a beautiful horse. So that was a really big thing for me as well. And also, I want to say July is when I officially finished writing ELYSIAN. Again, if you want the exact dates, I suggest you go to my How I Wrote ELYSIAN because everything is timestamped there. I don't have the exact dates in my head, but I think that's when I finished really writing, I think. In August, I started sending out queries for the first time, and that was a nerve-wracking experience, putting yourself out there, putting your book idea out there. I got a lot of rejections. I modified my query, and then in September I sent what I think was the best round of queries that I was able to write. I'd also edited the first couple of chapters of ELYSIAN quite deeply. I went back and read it, and there was a lot of exposition there, not a lot of dialogue, and honestly it wasn't that interesting at the beginning, so I just completely rewrote it, and that's when I wrote my next draft of queries, of which one of them landed me a publishing deal. So I got the full manuscript request in September, sent that in. Another agent also asked me for my manuscript. That agent turned me down. She didn't like everything that was in the book, which is fine, you know. Also in September, I went to a restaurant for the first time since coronavirus happened for my birthday. We went to IHOP, had a great meal there. Was a little bit nervous, but thank God. The restaurant was empty. There was only another table occupied at the time. Now when I drive by there, it's full and there are lines waiting to go in, but that day it was perfect. In October, I signed my publishing deal, so that was, you know, honestly, I have no words to describe that feeling of like thinking your book is going to be published. so that was amazing. Then November was also November was the one difficult month that I had, I think, because we got the elections and I was on deadline for a draft of editing. I had to get it done quickly. I was also trying to do NaNoWriMo, write 50,000 words of my second book, the sequel to ELYSIAN. But, 3 days into November, the elections happened, and I don't really watch much TV, and I really don't watch the news because I don't like it. But November 3rd, I was there sitting in front of the TV, and I was waiting for the results. I stayed up all night. I think I dozed off at some point around 5 in the morning, but I was up all night, and I had to work the next day. So I was sitting on my computer, on my work computer, teaching classes, but at the same time I had my other computer with a really low volume on the side watching the election. And I stayed up 2 days in a row just waiting for the official announcement that Biden won. I didn't sleep those 2 days at all, not a wink. I'm gonna say it was 36 hours. 36 hours that I was up. And then that third night, I just couldn't keep it up and I went to sleep. But those days of the election totally screwed up NaNoWriMo for me. I did not hit my goal of 50,000 words. I would pretty much be done with book 2 if I had. So that's unfortunate. That was something that was not planned. I wasn't prepared for my reaction to the elections, but I should have known because I'm obsessive like that. In November, I also adopted a third horse, Cirillo, my Appaloosa. November was also Mila'S 4th birthday. So she's 4 years old now. I don't know where the time's gone. Where has the time gone, honey? She's just thinking of the shrimp that we ate today, huh? November and December were pretty slow. I had a couple of friends telling me, hey, let's go travel, let's go this, let's go here, let's go there. But frankly, with the pandemic happening, I chose to take a step back. So my routine since July has been be at home with my parents, go see the horses, and that's basically it. I haven't seen many people outside of my family. But all in all, it's been a great year. I have had the luck that I haven't had any problems with being in lockdown. I actually enjoy being at home. I don't get any anxiety over not being able to go out or see people, and that's fine. At first, I had a little bit of FOMO, but once you realize that everyone is doing the exact same thing, you're not missing out on anything because everyone's missing out, then it's okay. And yeah, that was basically my year. But, apart from the things that I have done and the things that have happened to me, this year we got the Black Lives Matter movement, which was an amazing thing to see because, it wasn't just something going on in the U.S. It was a problem that, the entire world recognized, and there were marches in France, marches in Japan over something that was happening in the United States, people coming together, and to me, that was just an amazing and inspiring thing to see, and I really hope that we don't lose it. I hope that we keep, moving forward and fighting against social injustices. In March, with lockdown, when we first went into lockdown, I remember going into the grocery stores and people were going insane. Bottles of water were gone. The sodas ran out. I think we all remember the toilet paper scandal of 2020. There was no toilet paper, no napkins, hand sanitizer was gone, soaps were running out. So those first 2 weeks, I want to say, of quarantine were crazy. People were going insane, and of course, we didn't know what was going to happen, so, it was justified. In August we got Midnight Sun, and I was so happy to finally have it after 12 years of waiting. I read the first couple of chapters that had leaked only after Stephenie Meyer put them on her website saying that she was very disappointed, but here you go. So maybe I shouldn't have read them, but I did. But I was so excited, so happy to finally get that whole book, and honestly, it was a masterpiece. I loved it. I want Stephenie Meyer to write the entire series from Edward's point of view. In July, we also got Folklore, and I was listening to Folklore nonstop every day until Evermore came out a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm listening to that. But that brings us over to the new year, to 2021. And honestly, I don't want to set too many expectations or to set too many goals, because we have no idea what is going to happen. But the one thing that I do want to do, and the one thing that I do want to manifest and bring out to the world, is that I am publishing my book. My book is going to be out, I don't know when, sometime this year, which is crazy to say because yesterday I was saying sometime next year. But it'll be out sometime this year. And I really, really hope that it sells and that people like it and that everyone welcomes my second book, which brings me over to my second goal, which is finishing book 2 of the Celestian novel series, and that I come up with a badass title for that book, because right now I have no idea what it's going to be called. And I think by the point that I'm at with book 2 with Elysian, I already knew the title. So I don't know, I have no idea what it's gonna be called. I'm also not naming my chapters, because my chapters, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that. I'll save it for a different video. But that was 2020 in review. I think I just found a title for this video as well. That was my 2020 in review, and my hopes and expectations for 2021. I hope that everyone has a great year this year, or at least a better year than they had last year. But without further ado, I'm going to put an end to this video, because I do realize that I'm ranting and rambling a little bit too much. So, if you like this video and if you like my content, you can subscribe, hit that notification button down below, and you can look me up on social medias. It is at The Rebecca Queen everywhere, and I will see you next time. Bye!